Hey everyone, my name is Azita Ziaei, and today I want to talk to you about this awesome project that I created last year, which I interviewed 20 immigrant women that they share their stories to the world that they get. And my vision was to inspire and empower other immigrant women that they want to come here, they want to immigrate to Canada or any other countries, but they have that fear that what's going to happen next or what's happening, or they are going through a hard time, because we all go through it. And I just want to inspire them by watching these videos that if we did it, they can do it too, and they are not alone. I hope you enjoy them. And if you like my channel, please subscribe, and I have more projects coming on soon. Thank you for watching and have a great day. I'm here with Eva, and she's from Spain, and she's a event planner in Toronto.
That's right.
So how are you doing, Eva, with the COVID-19?
All good. Working from home. Can't complain.
I don't know how many days is it we are in it, but today is April 26th, right?
27.
27. Okay, I forgot the date even.
It's
Yeah, seriously, like the other day I was like writing somewhere 3 days like before the date,
four.
actual date. You're like, okay. Like you don't look at the date anymore, I guess, these days, right?
No, you don't. Unless I guess you have something that is coming up on whatever day. And right now we have calendars and alarms that let us know about everything. So we don't even need to know the day.
Exactly. So maybe I'm just gonna start with my project, and I'm gonna ask you like how old you are and how long you've been here
Okay.
and what do you do. So maybe you want to explain more about your job.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
go
you
ahead.
so yeah, as I'm mentioning, so I'm currently working at Victoria University, which is one of the colleges of University of Toronto in downtown. So I work for the events department, and we basically help internal clients or external to use our facilities and put together events, execute them. And well, right now we are more working, as you were mentioning, the COVID-19, kind of like revamping our operation. So hopefully we can come back stronger.
So how long you've been here in Canada?
I think it's about 10 years, 9.5.
Right. So how old were you when you came?
Well, I think I was 24, 25 years old. But the first time I came to Canada, I was probably 21 years old. I was still at university back in Spain. So I came one summer, 3 months during the summer break to study English. Um, After that, I liked it, and I came back another second summer, um, and the same I stayed for another 3 months. And after I was done with my university in Spain, I definitely moved here to study a postgraduate, and then since then I stayed.
So what were you studying in Spain?
In Spain, I did BA in marketing and advertising and public relations, and as well as journalism. And in here, I took a postgraduate in hospitality and project management.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
that's that's the downsides, right? Especially like I spent 6 years in university, and then you have to go back to school again if you move to another country, regardless of the country. That always happens.
True, true. But I guess it depends what you want to do, right? In life. Like
Yeah.
so like some people they go to like having a business. Some people like they want to study and continue. It depends
There.
what's your plan for your life. So yeah, how like how come, like, what happened that you chose Canada? And
Um, well, like the first time I came in here, I think it was 2007, and at that time, like our currency euro was very competitive with the Canadian dollar. So I mean, price wise, it was easier for us to like pay for well, not for me, for my parents to pay for a course in here to learn English than versus going to the States or United Kingdom. Also, like trying to, Canada probably wasn't as, I guess, many Spanish speakers as I could probably would be meeting in other countries like the States or United Kingdom. So those sort of were the two factors that kind of like, I guess, linked to me to come to Canada.
okay,
Yeah, it
good.
was a little bit of like an adventure. It wasn't really like anything planned, like, oh, I really want to move there because A, B, and C. It was sort of like an adventure, like, yeah, sure, like, okay, I'll go there for 3 months. And, if
And you
something,
came and you came in summertime, right?
yeah, summertime, yeah.
When the weather is perfect here and
Yeah, when like the city is very beautiful, there's lots of things to do, there is lots of festivals, and then you find the winter.
yeah, that's true. Like the summer is perfect here, so no complaint in summertime.
No complaints, that's true, that's true.
So, like, I just want to jump in, like, the first 3 years that you
Mhm.
were here. So, what was the struggle that you had to go through? And
Yeah, I would say probably my three first years would count like once I definitely moved here. Obviously, the struggle, right? For me was more of like knowing people that could connect you with companies who work. I did find sort of like, I would say, not unfair, but it is very hard to break the ground in here in Canada, especially because I came from private schools, which I already paid like lots of money for tuitions every year. When you come to Canada to study as an international student, you pay more than a national. And then I remember I did wanted to do an internship, but I had to pay for it, and I'm like, I'm not paying for this, right? So that's sort of like for me close a little bit of like my doors at the beginning. So I would say, yeah, one of the struggles was like networking, knowing people that it could help you to land a decent job
Mhm.
that will allow you to stay here. And then I guess maybe not much at my point, but also financial situation. Sometimes your first jobs might not be like the best well pay, so sometimes you have to sort of like look for a second weekend part-time job. And also like another barrier that I found more as a personal level would be having an accent, which is even sarcastic, right? Because Canada is made of immigrants and there's not like such a thing as Canadian accent. Um, I found sometimes people, when they would interview you, they will just um, not value your experience or what you might be bringing to the job just because you have an accent. And that even happened like recently because I was forced to, well, the company that I was working for a year ago closed down, and I was obviously forced to look for another job. And I had an interview in which I was basically just not considered because of my accent, and that was said by a recruiter, which she even sent me an email, right? Saying it might be good for you to hire someone who can help you out. I
What?
was wow. Like I was actually blown away. I
Like,
was like, wow.
is that even legal to say it?
Well, it didn't like out loud basically because of my accent. She said sometimes it might be hard to understand me. And she sent me some sort of like recommendations because I asked for a feedback. If you knew who they were looking for, why would you, put me forward when you spoke to me on the phone, when you hear me? So that was sometimes like, having an accent. I found that it could also be not like a barrier, but like just be aware, and it is what it is, and just be positive. And we're able to speak more than one language. It's not all Canadians can do.
Yeah,
So, I
exactly.
mean, I don't take it as a disadvantage, but sometimes I know, especially at the beginning, it can be a struggle.
Yeah, like it's gives you self-doubt and like make you feel like even though like maybe like you know English good enough to apply for a job and like go for an interview, and then when somebody tells you that, like you feel like, oh, okay, maybe I'm not good enough, and all those self-doubt comes back to you.
Yeah, it's fine. The job that I was able to get, like, it really paid off. So I wouldn't,
Yeah,
even like the job that this person was offering, it wasn't like, like a job you said, oh, wow. Like, it was actually the job. It
yeah,
was, it was just a job.
yeah.
So
It wasn't your job. It wasn't
that's
like
right.
you know.
Yeah. So I know, like, always, I think like something for like newcomers to have in mind, and I not to get dismotivated, might be like some people might discourage you, or they might not really see what you're capable of just because of your background, of your accent, and you might have to prove it harder. But just do your job and show what you're capable of, and I mean the rest is just some other people problem. I mean, my problem.
Yeah, like you can't like it's good to learn. It's good to improve in so many different
And,
levels.
and no, and let's be honest, right? I know I have an accent, and I know sometimes I might not explain myself as a native speaker, but I also been working towards it. I'm taking, as I just mentioned, some pronunciation classes, and trying to be more aware of how words are pronounced and all the stuff. But not for that I'm just gonna be like, oh my god, I can't succeed in here. It's you try it, you set your goals, and if not, move into something else.
Yeah, no, I was just saying like if you can't like the job that you were mentioning, like so it's not your job, so you shouldn't let that thing hold you back and bring you down.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it did. Let's be honest, it did bring me down a little bit, but I was about to like email the lady after and say, oh, listen, I was able to be an immigrant and like land a job at U of T, which I think it's a good opportunity. So
Okay, yeah, you are like you know your value. You are
yeah,
better than that. So like, yeah,
that's
it's not even worth like going back and forth with the person that I don't know
true.
sends you then that kind of an email. So like how about culturally? Like you said, like networking and stuff, but like moving here and because I used to live in Spain, I know the people are so like outgoing and like loud and like, talkative and like in the area I was in Madrid, like
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think like cultural wise, there is a, as you say, there is a difference, right? It's Spain, like everybody, even like weekdays, like we go out and like we get together in a bar, and or even with your friends or your colleagues. It's a very outgoing culture, and like very more like you spend lots of time with like socializing, like in bars or like maybe someone's house. um like in here, I feel it's more a little bit of like the difference in culture. I don't get that sense of like people as much um gathering like as often, but I think that's also due to the weather. Like, as in summer, like you see people gathering as like we gathered in Spain 12 months during the full year. In here, I think it's more it's not as socializing as much, but I guess it's due to the weather. I mean, keep in mind, I do socialize with my friends when I need it. So I didn't sense as much cultural shock. If I do have to add something that was sort of like positive in in, in the Canadian culture, is how open-minded everybody is. That's also one difference that I might notice from Spain. I don't think like maybe in Spain they're as open-minded as they could be in here, but it also can be because I come from a very small town,
Mm.
so that that can vary from like cities as Madrid or Barcelona to my town, right? But in here, at least in Toronto, right? That's what I know. I always live in Toronto. Like I really like how eclectic the city is, how multicultural, how you can find like so many cultures within one city, right? Like how many restaurants you can find. That's something that culturally I really love about this city. Like
Yeah.
I would be maybe missing the gathering with like more people, but on the other side, the difference that I found like with the multiculturalism in the city.
Mm. Yeah, maybe it is like it depends on the city you said in Spain. My experience is vice versa than yours because I was like coming originally from Iran, like loud and family, everybody together and stuff, and then coming to Canada, and then from Canada going to US to Spain. For me, it was a culture shock to see how people are so like the neighbors. They were so like together
Yeah,
talking, like from
that's
this building to next building, like talking from the window to window, and like, wow, what's happening here?
that's something that now that you mention, like I noticed too, right? Like sometimes you'll go on the elevator, nobody says anything in here, like at least in my building. Sometimes you'll go and you say bye, have a good day, or hasta luego, or something, right? um and sometimes they won't even answer. Like even my parents will ask me, it's like, oh, you don't know any of your neighbors? I'm like, I don't. And like actually we knew only, so I think there is like 12 apartments on our floor. We only knew one neighbor and she moved out, and we met her because her door got locked, so she had to use our balcony to sort of like close cross her balcony, right? And since then, like we sort of like, if we see each other, whatever, we'll chat. What we used to. But like, yeah, as you said, like, in Spain, everybody sort of like know everybody
Oh
in
yeah,
the building you live. Yeah, it's
everybody was so connected to each
yeah.
other.
Here, I guess it's. I think it's the same as the weather, right? Maybe sometimes it's not as inviting. I don't know. That's my assumption. It might be something else. Might be culture.
Yeah, yeah, I know the weather like affects like going outside and stuff, but like inside, I don't know. It's just for me it was very different. So from here to yeah. So what else? Like, how do you describe like how you overcome the struggles the first few years?
Um. Well, I guess it's a matter of keep reconnecting with people, like work on connecting with people, um, sort of like knowing where you want to work and what you want to do and work towards, attending sometimes events, asking people that they might work in your area. Um, when it comes to like the matter of, I mean, of, you know, like we were talking about like the accent, any other of another of the struggles, that was something that it just how you work on yourself and how you value yourself. That's more matter of personal confidence.
Mm.
uh and yeah, and I guess when like as financial situation, sometimes I find that it was also like another struggle is just like you have to plan well for yourself, and have to have a budget and what you can spend and what you cannot. And I can't even imagine right now when like prices for like apartments are just crazy.
Mhm. I know. And it keeps going up, and God knows what's going to happen.
I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. For me, yeah, the first few years, financials, and even though, like, as you said, like back home, like we learned, we were studying English in school, but as soon as you go to that country that everybody speaks that language, it's just like that was a big shock for me. Like listening
Yeah.
and talking, that was a like most immigrants, they have that. The first thing is like listening and talking. It's so hard for them. Like maybe they know the language, but yeah, that part is was really.
Yeah, it's always, you have to be very outgoing. It's not as easy for everybody. That's 100% true.
Now I remember, like, I started working at a mm, coffee shop, coffee time,
Mm-hmm.
and it was my first job, and I was so like, oh my god, I got the job, like at the coffee shop, and like, and I was working night shift even. And one day, one of these construction workers, they would come early morning, like 5 o'clock and stuff, to get coffee, and I was just so focused on the job because I have a job, and my language, was okay, but and I was just so like into myself. And he said, "Where is your smile?" And I was like, "Smile? What is a smile?" Seriously, like I was thinking, like he wants something, he wants to buy something, and I'm like, "Where is your smile?" And I was like, "Smile? What is a smile? A smile?" Like, and
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, smile, okay." Like he was telling me that I'm not smiling or I'm so serious, but that was a like memory that I will never forget. Like, where
That's
is my
fun.
smile? Yeah, so yeah, that was the first few years, especially the first 2 years, like answering back, like you
Yeah.
hear stuff and then answering back.
Well, even up to today, there is, I worked at a hotel for 2 years, and I used to even pick up phone for the room service and everything. Whoever would come from United Kingdom, I would have to ask them. It's like, it's okay, can I put you on hold? Because I would have to go and look for a colleague who used to work in UK. Because I'm like, I can't. But it wasn't even me. Because even like sometimes someone will come in and they had strong accent, something that I will have to go, and it's like, oh, just give me a second, please. I'm gonna get someone for you to help you out. But even a native speaker, right, wouldn't understand what the person was saying. So it's not even a matter of us, like, being like not a native speakers. It's sometimes people's accents, right? Because even in Spain, sometimes accents from like very north Spain or very south are very close. So even for me that speak native Spanish from Spain, I'm like, okay, I don't know what you're saying.
Yeah,
So
even in Spain, like some people, I guess south they speak slower, and some part they speak faster. Or
south is more they short words,
yeah,
like they might get rid of the ending of the words. And north, because they speak other dialects or languages, so sometimes they might have like a stronger accent, or they might mix words, or they might name things very different.
yeah, sure.
Like they might have like a very different slang to name regular things, right? Like, I don't know, like a table or like a stair or chair. So
Sure.
it's sort of like a disconnection in there.
Yeah, I guess every country has it too. Like
Yeah.
even in Iran, they have it
Yeah.
too. Or like even here, like from Nepal and like so many different parts. Like they have different accents. Um, so let's move on to the next question. Like, what price did you pay to get where you are now?
Um, it was a matter of like working very hard. As you know, as you mentioned, like working overnight shifts, starting from the very bottom, working at restaurants, and sort of like, shifting your work towards what you really want to do. So I would say like some of the things that I probably pay for, it was like working harder than I would be maybe had to work in Spain to get a higher job. Like sort of like even you have, your bachelor administrations or you have your postgraduate programs, is just because you don't have a Canadian experience. You sort of like have, like for me, right? Like my price would be for like getting jobs like they might not have been as qualified for my education, but you have to start from somewhere. And as you say, it was a job, right? So I was very happy with the first job that I landed. So
Yeah, exactly. Like, and then like that's the part. Like most people, they compare it with their own country, and they were like, oh, like if I was in my country, would I do this job?
yeah, especially like, like I might seen some people that I know from school like on LinkedIn, and I'll be like, wow, like that person wasn't even like, one of the people you would say like this, that person was outstanding, or like he or she had such a good quality or grades or attribute or something, right? That you see is like, wow, this person, at least the title, right, sounds like very wow. That I'm like, even I'm living in another country and like I'm doing something that is it's not even like same level, or like it doesn't sound as I guess powerful or as important, right? But then, as you say, right, like it's what I pay for.
Yeah, and like because I don't know, I told you, I guess I emigrated 5 times, and but when I look back now, after all these moving around, like each country, like I gained so many experiences.
Yeah,
Maybe I'm not whatever the other person title is, but I gained so many experience and I got to know so many people. I got to learn, like for
yeah,
me Spanish was like zero, like nothing. I knew maybe from the numbers from 0 to 10 when I moved to Spain. And for me, like pushing myself again to go learn another language, to fit in and to be able to communicate with the neighbors that were all Spaniards. Like the block we were living, like there was no immigrants. So it
so
was us were we were the only family immigrant, and it is hard, but
it is.
at the same time, like I gained so many different experiences and knowledge and I don't know, knowing people and finding friends. So I don't want to even compare myself to when I was in Iran or with my friends that they are still back in Iran.
Yeah, like and I see even like if I look at what I have and like what people from Spain, they might have. Um, after like I've been living here for 10 years, right? Like I could say like I'm already settled, like I already have, well, basically my working experience, my career is a Canadian career, right? It's not a career that I started in Spain and I continue or I brought it here. Everything that I've been working, it started here, right? If I compare with them, I think I would probably be standing at the same point, right? Like I, they might have a house, like I already purchased an apartment, so I don't see sometimes, title might sound like fancier, but I mean, and as you say, right, you're able to like learn a new language and you push yourself out of your boundaries. So at the end, like you're better off with more personal experiences that they might be. So yeah, no regrets.
Yeah, that's the thing about life, right? Like you go through it and like you learn
Yeah,
so many different things. So like the regret
like
is not gonna help you.
especially. Um, like after, Spain was, was very badly hit with the crisis in 2010, 2012. Uh, right now, again, right, as we were talking, and that was one of the reasons when I first came in here to Canada, you would not find many Spaniards in here. It was, I think I was few of the only ones. Like I could have Spanish friends from Spain, like counted with the fingers of my hand. The only time you would find, I guess, Spaniards would be like in the summertime. That's when like everybody comes like in 3 week programs or like six weeks programs or whatever the time, right? Like after the crisis, like 2010, right now the number of Spaniards, right, that they immigrated, it's high. It's very high. And like right now, I think it's gonna be another second after we're done with the COVID and whatever in a couple of years, because Spain is being hit so bad, right, for these two crises, and it's just like it destroys a lot of employment. So people they try to look for like second opportunities. So for me, I guess I was a pioneer. Like I took the adventure before.
True.
So yeah, it could have had happened to me that I would have stayed in Spain and I might, when 2010 with the crisis, I might be working in there. My employment might be, finished, and I say, oh, I have to do something with my life. And like I see now that people they are coming, because there is the possibility of people to be here for a year on a working visa. The conditions they get, they're not the conditions they're gonna be able to remain in the country. It's very hard.
True.
So yeah, lots of
Yeah,
points.
no, I'm thinking like that was the time that I decided to come back to Canada. It was 2011. That was right when you said,
Yeah, 2010 and 2012 was devastating for Spain. And it was like, I would say like a year ago, year and a half, the country started to like not doing that bad. Because keep in mind, unemployment rate went up to 23 or 25%. Out of that 25%, 50% of that population were recent graduate from schools or people under 30, 35, which it's basically when you're young and you have to like start making your career. So if you don't have an opportunity, it's hard. And like now that's what's gonna happen again after all these COVID crisis. I guess it's hard.
you don't know what's going to happen in the future, right?
Yeah,
Even
that's
if,
what you're doing your project, right? So you can help newcomers.
yeah, exactly. Like I have to, like, I do my part, and God knows what's going to happen here or even US, and we don't know what future going to hold. So,
Well, I can tell you something like Canada it's in a very, 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 very better place than any other European country or US, like way better. So I think we have better possibilities of not being hurt as much. Will it still be hurt? But trust me, not as much. And Canadian uh, economy will recover way faster than any other country in Europe. Like especially South European countries, like those South European countries, it's gonna take years again to
yeah, like Italy,
recover.
well,
Yeah,
Spain, Italy, like,
yeah, Spain and Italy, those two, they man, like they won't win any lottery, but they're very like in the 10 last years, they're just being hit very bad. Yeah. Well, it is what it is.
exactly.
We are lucky we have plan A or plan B. If one plan doesn't work, you go for the plan B. We
Yeah,
have opportunities.
exactly. So we keep pushing through, and
Yeah. Well, that's what you get, right? You push it, now you have opportunities. Say something might not work in Canada, you might have an opportunity in going back to your own country. If it doesn't work in your country, then at least you can come back again to Canada.
Okay, no, I don't think I'll be going back. If yeah, maybe if something like change in Iran, yeah, maybe the government and everything, yeah, maybe. But I don't think I'm gonna go back. Like I will stay, and I really
Yeah,
want to.
maybe Spain.
Yeah, maybe God knows. So let's go back to the question. Okay, so now like what? I guess we talked about it at the beginning.
Yeah.
What are your suggestions for other immigrant women that they want to come here or they are here
Yeah.
and
Yeah, like I would say, like really have clear in mind what your goals are. Um, Once you have your goals, like outline the path to achieve those goals. Luckily, there is a lot of information online now than when I maybe came to Canada. We have, new tools like to mention LinkedIn or some groups in Facebook that people might post their problems, that they might post solutions, suggestions on how you can avoid those problems if you are a newcomer. So do use of those tools that you can find online. Um, have very clear, because I also think sometimes immigration in here can be very very tough, so keep that in mind, that you might be prepared, you might have a job, but immigration can also be a barrier. So have that in mind too, how you can maybe work to avoid those problems, and as well as I would say some sort of like financial plan, because unless you come here as a permanent resident, uh, financial support from banking entities is very hard. So sort of like have your plan ready. Unless you just want to come in and study English for a couple of months. But if your intention is to come into Canada to make a living,
yeah.
then you really have to have a plan. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess yeah, for the living for sure. Like if you're here for as a tourist like for a few months and you want to go back, like it's not gonna make a big difference. But when
Yeah.
you want to stay, that's like yeah, there are lots of information, but like on internet. But at the same time, like staying and waiting, somebody give you those information is not gonna happen. So like you have to reach out.
Yeah. That I also find people have that bad habit of wanted someone to give them the answer to their problems. It's you can't assume that. You really have to, because it's like, let's put it this way, like you are looking for a job, right? And you ask someone because he works at a company, oh, is there any opening in your company? And you are like, okay, what do you do, what are you interested? I can't really pass your resume to HR, because that's like, you look bad because you're sending someone's information to HR, and so it's the same. Like, have a specific, make your research, make sure you have tried to look for the information for your answer, and then reach out to the people, right? Because people, as you say, they're gonna take longer and give you the information if you just ask them, oh, I want to go to Canada, how can I move there? So if someone reaches out to me and say, oh, I want to go and live in Canada, I'll be like, sorry, like check CIC.ca, right? Like if someone, comes to me and is like, oh, I'm interested in going to a college, or, I apply for jobs online, something concrete, right? That I could guide the person or whoever it is. But yeah, I mean, do your research first, do your job first.
Like you mean like asking the right people, I guess.
Yeah.
Seriously, research and asking the right
Yeah,
people
do
in that.
your homework first and then try to find the people with your precise questions.
Yeah, true. It's just some immigrants, when they come, like they're kind of shy. They feel like rejected if they ask one and they get no, and then they just, maybe I was one of them. Like I no, seriously, like you feel like, okay, so, and then you just keep it to yourself and you're afraid to try again. But that's the fear that is stopping so many people to try different routes, try and ask different.
Well, hopefully no. Yeah, maybe sometimes can have a bad like no as an answer, and then yeah, you said like they sort of like push them back.
Yeah. So yeah, so I guess that's the end of it. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you
Oh,
for accepting this,
no, no, absolutely.
sharing your story
Thank you for
on the
considering me.
project, and hopefully we can do more stuff together and different projects and stuff. So
We have to do some pictures, right, for your project. I think once
yeah,
it's
yeah. One day that everything is over, so I have to do an event now. Okay, now maybe I need your help for the event now.
yeah. I mean, happy to collaborate with you. Very very happy. So don't worry. If you have any
Thank you
questions.
for your time, and hopefully you have a good day and sunny day, and maybe we can go out and
Yeah, I think today on my adventure, I'm going outside for a walk. It looks like it's very nice outside.
yeah, it looks really nice. Okay, well, thank you,
Thank
and
you so much. All right, bye bye.